We could run out of fuel and our reserves are overseas. This is the most Australian story you'll ever hear in your life. It's dangerous in a global crisis to assume fuel stored on the other side of the world will somehow be available, transportable, and prioritised for Australia when we need it most. Now, there's an article from the Victorian Transport Association CEO. I know nothing about him, so I'm not saying that, I'm not sort of defending his credibility, whoever he may be, but from what I can see here, it's mostly accurate. Let's see what's going on. Australia likes to think of itself as a secure, self-reliant nation. I'm not sure why anyone would think that. When it comes to fuel, we have outsourced our sovereignty. So something that's happened, obviously, with the recent moves in the Middle East is that oil shocks around the world. So the large percentage of the oil produced in the world comes from the Middle East. And when there's a disruption there, as there is right now, that means that oil is immediately impacted. Price goes up, supply goes down, and it becomes chaos. Now, every country has an amount that they agree to hold onshore, which is 90 days supply, as I best understand it. And all the data that I've seen so far is that Australia has about 25 days supply of diesel, petrol, those sort of things, jet fuel, those sort of things. Now, we do have what's called a strategic petroleum reserve, apparently, that we had from 2020. And that was when oil was very cheap. And we put 1.7 million barrels in US storage, salt mine storage or some shit. But it was sold in 2022. So we don't have that 1.7 million barrels. And by the way, 1.7 million barrels, you think, wow, that's amazing. That's about 2 days supply for Australia. So the situation is this. We have 25 days supply onshore, and that includes, I think, ships that are in our waters. That's not a good thing. That's why prices are going up. That's why everybody's nervous. But we have this apparently strategic petroleum reserve, but I'm not even sure that we have that. Now, people think when oil prices go up, it's just that petrol prices at the pump go up, and it's like, well, that's a bit annoying, or that hurts our budget, no question. But no, it goes through every single link of the supply chain, so prices just go up. So if there's a shortage and oil prices go up, that's the fertilizers that fertilize the farms. That's the trucks and the diesel that runs the trucks to get to the distribution centers. That's everything. That's jet fuel prices. That's everything. Every link in the supply chain requires oil, and every product almost in the bloody world has oil in it. So oil is the main game. And when it goes up, it affects every single link in the chain. So prices go up for everything. So Australia's vulnerability is magnified by the near total reliance on imported refined fuels. I think we used to have 12 refineries. We now have 2. We are a price taker on global energy markets because we have very minimal domestic onshore, not enough to run our country, refining capability. That comes at a great cost. Now, it comes at a great cost to have it onshore. I read somewhere that maybe when the LNP were in government, I think it was someone commented, I'm not sure if it's true, that it was going to cost tens of billions of dollars to store oil onshore. But what cost is it to not have it onshore when you bloody need it? So here's all the reasons that, lost hours, delayed deliveries, trucks stop, our country stops if we run out of fuel. And that can actually happen. Like, you think it can't happen because it hasn't happened in your lifetime. It can bloody happen. So trucks never stop, and the transport of goods throughout our communities is vital to maintain the standard of living we'll all come to expect. Threaten the fuel supply chain, and the basis upon which this nation engages economically starts to dissolve and dismantle. Now, he's got a point here that a strategic fuel reserve somewhere else in the world is not a strategic fuel reserve under pressure. As soon as those shipping lines came under pressure in a war or anything like that, that oil, forget it. Like, you're not getting it. They're not going to, we'll honour or we can't even get a ship through, or we'll honour our agreement. No, there'll be no honouring our agreement. Sorry, we're taking that oil and we're putting it in our strategic reserve. So there's some more here on strategic energy security. Let me just say this. This is what makes me a bit nervous. We're relying on our future is going to be solar panels and wind farm parts from China, oil from not Australia, let's say, refinery not in Australia, all of these things one by one, our entire, and we've got unreliable energy with no real backup. Oh, we're going to have batteries. Are we? Okay, maybe. Let's see. We're going to get rid of and we're selling gas for not enough. So there's all these situations, right? We're taking away all our natural advantages, all our energy security advantages, and we're just trading them away. We're just giving them away. And we're putting ourselves in a situation where, if, let's say, this is a good little practice run, if this sort of conflict in the Middle East was bigger, what do we have? What do we have to rely on? We've got no oil. We've got no fuel onshore, our energy security for electricity and all that sort of thing is going to be very shaky once you need the supply chain from overseas to build our energy. What are we talking about here? We have had governments asleep at the wheel for at least 10 years, probably it's 12 years now, and they've just gone backwards. And all these non-decisions that have been made and these weak decisions and all this are all going to come home to roost. So it's not too late. Some of these governments or someone can show some courage and start to build the things that actually matter, like energy security, instead of pretending. Because if we keep going the way we're going, all it's going to take is one small ripple and we're going to have a really big, our whole economy is going to stop.